My English essay is due in a couple hours, and I don't feel the best about it. I mean, the book was challenging. I really want to sound smart, hide the fact that my arguments were kind of weak, and still get those A's. Let's see. Whoa, stop! Who are you? I'm you from the future. I'm Teacher John. And with 15 years of high school teaching experience, I promise you're not going to get extra grades by trying to sound smart. Are you sure? I think it works. Oh my God. Why am I trying to help you? Your dad's right. You are an idiot. Okay, so Teacher John couldn't save that idiot from himself, but I can save you. In this video, I'm going to explain two things. Why trying to sound smart isn't actually going to get you higher grades. Hint, the third reason is kind of surprising. And secondly, I'm going to explain what you should do with your time instead. And stick around to the end where I explain one bonus point that really will solidify my argument and have you stop worrying about sounding smart. To explain why a huge vocabulary isn't going to get you better grades, I need to explain three things. First, look at any rubric you've gotten for an essay. Vocabulary probably isn't on the list. For example, in a persuasive essay, what's usually on the rubric are things like strong evidence, good use of quotations, particularly depth of analysis. There's really nothing on there about the vocabulary you use. Hold up, I hear you say. What about the communication mark with spelling and grammar? Fair enough, but if vocabulary is on the rubric, it's about spelling and grammar, not the complexity and not the number of syllables that you're using. So let's jump into our second reason. Huge words really don't impress teachers for higher marks. In my 15 years of teaching, yeah, there's been a couple times where I thought, cool word. But you know what I've thought of hundreds or thousands of times? Wow, that's some great analysis right there. I never thought about that. Great thinking. And also, I've never thought, what use of baby words? Usually I think, it's pretty easy to understand. So stop worrying about those 20 to 25 words that you make sure are 5 syllables because no teacher is impressed. On to our third reason why, and this is a surprising thing, sounding smart probably has the opposite effect that you want. Think about it this way. If you've ever played sports or been to a music competition, what happens when you think, don't screw up or don't drop the ball? Did you figure it out yet? You probably screw up and you probably drop the ball because you're thinking of the bad things. Focusing on trying to sound smart inherently hurts your grades because you're focusing on the wrong things. You won't believe the amount of times I've asked students in feedback sessions, I have no idea what you're writing about. What do you mean here? They responded with, I wanted to sound smart, so I wrote that. Then, when I asked them what they wanted to say, they responded in such clear words that all I could say was, well, why didn't you write that? And they just say, it didn't sound smart. I've clearly made my case why sounding smart doesn't actually earn you higher grades. So what should you focus on then? These three things I guarantee you are going to earn higher grades than trying to sound smart ever could. Firstly, you've got to focus on that outline. All good writing is ultimately about two things. One, your ideas, and secondly, how you organize them. So many students just start typing furiously once they have their ideas and they hope that it sounds good. Then they have to worry about things like flow, organization, analysis, argument structure, and things like that. But if they had just stopped, taken a couple hours to work on an outline, it would have saved them dozens of hours, a ton of stress, and I promise if you have an outline, you're not going to have to worry about sounding smart because your ideas are going to be so well organized, you're going to sound smart regardless. That brings us on to our second thing. What you should focus on is giving yourself enough time to edit, to say everything that you want clearly. So many students leave writing to the last minute. Again, it's no wonder they want to sound smart. They don't have enough time to actually be smart. So I would recommend giving yourself at least 7 whole days to give yourself enough time to edit, and I promise you are going to sound smart without all the big words. I guarantee you this third point is something you don't do, but will boost your grades 5-10% like that. What you should do is find some friends to edit with. Get a group of 3 or 4 students in your class, or maybe older siblings or parents for that matter, who can actually look at your work and give you an objective assessment of what you're writing. So many times when you're editing, you know in your head exactly what you want to say, but you give it to somebody else and they're like, the hell is this? So if you give yourself enough time, write that outline and then give it to your friends, I promise they're going to catch tons of errors, give you a ton of feedback. And the added bonus of this is that by you editing your friend's work, you're gonna start catching their errors, and then that's gonna make you ultimately a better writer. So that is what you should spend your time doing. If this video has helped you with high school writing, please consider leaving a subscribe down below. It would be the highlight of my teaching career. Thanks, and let's keep going. So here's my final bonus point to really hammer home this idea that sounding smart is no good. I'm gonna give you 2 historical examples. When you think about Shakespeare, what are 6 words that immediately come to mind? I'll give you a second. If you said to be or not to be, you'd be right. And think about it this way. 6 one-syllable words are probably the most iconic group of words in the English language. Shakespeare could have tried to sound smart like a regular high school English student, and when Hamlet's contemplating suicide said something like, "To commit suicide over the overwhelming complexities and absurdities of this mortal existence." Sounds like a high school kid? Does not pack the same punch. Secondly, think about Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. That is a masterclass on simple writing. If you read through it, the longest words are only 4 syllables, and they are dedicated, proposition, altogether, consecrated. And I think combined, he uses those words 7 or 8 times. So if iconic writers and speakers like Abraham Lincoln and William Shakespeare are writing their best work using simple syllables, you can too. If you struggle with your writing and trying to sound smart, then you might struggle with thesis statements as well. If that's the case, click on this playlist right over here, which are all my videos about writing clear and concise thesis statements, because that will also help you with your writing. Take care, I'll see you in the next one.